What's up, cohorts, filmmakers? Okay, I want to talk about the scene. Um, Within the script, in the structure of it, there are units, basic units. And one unit is the scene. So we have like we have a beat, right? And a series of beats make up a scene. A series of scenes make up a sequence. Okay? So we talked about the event. Now the scene is somewhat different. But the scene must have an event. All right? So Robert McKee writes this. For a typical film, the writer would choose 40 to 60 of story events, or as they're commonly known, scenes. A novelist may want more. Okay. A scene is an action through conflict in more or less continuous time and space that turns the value charged condition of the character's life on at least one value with a degree of perceptible insignificance. Ideally, every scene is a story event. So every scene that is an event, and as we explained, that event changes the polarity, the charge from positive to negative, or negative to positive, right? That charge for the conditions for our protagonists. The circumstances go from positive to negative or negative to positive. Their values that they're seeking that are at risk. Okay? So in the scene, it does the same thing. Ideally, every scene is a story event. Something has to happen. Okay? Then he writes, look closely at each scene you've written and ask, what is the value at stake in my character's life at this moment? Love, truth, what? How is the value charged at the top of the scene positive, negative, sometimes both? And he says, make a note. Then you turn to the close of the scene. All right, you go from the beginning, then turn to the end of the scene. Okay? Where is the value charged now? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it both? If the value charge at the end of the scene is the same as the beginning of the scene, right? If it's a positive at the beginning of the scene and then a positive at the end of the scene, right? You have to ask yourself, why is this scene in my movie? Why is this scene in my script? Because remember, each scene has to be an event, and an event goes from positive to negative or a negative to positive. Okay? So if your scene does not do that, you have to ask yourself, why is it in my movie? Because a lot of times it's just exposition. And what exposition is, and this is important to know because exposition is important, exhibition is the bits of details and facts that the audience needs to know so that they have a sense and understanding of the plot. Okay? So it's bits of information they need to know. So if your scene is just getting out bits of information, exposition, you need to ask yourself, why is this scene in my movie? And if it is just for getting out exposition, you still need to sort of encase it, surround it with conflict. Because if it's just a scene where they're just giving exposition, just giving out facts about X, Y, and Z, well, it falls flat, right? But if it's in the moment of conflict, and in that moment of conflict, information comes out, right? People will adhere to the conflict and interest, right? The conflict is going to keep them up, the event, right? And they're still getting the exposition, okay? So, the scene has to start on a value charge and end on the opposite value charge in order for it to be meaningful in the story, okay? It has to start on a positive and end on a negative, or start on a negative and end on a positive. That's how you want your scene structure to go. And I'm going to end that one right there. All right. See you on the next video.